Hi, I'm back. I'll be reading the Bible from the Daily Audio Bible app for January 7, 2021. Genesis chapter 16, verse 1 to Genesis chapter 18, verse 15. Genesis chapter 16. Chapter 16. Chapter 16. Hagar and Ishmael. Now, SCR, now Sarah, now SCRAI, APRAM, Patricia's wife, had borne him no children, but she had an Egyptian slave named Hagar. So she said to APRAM, the Lord has kept me from having children. Go sleep with my slave. Perhaps I can build a family through her. APRAM agreed to what SCRAI said. So after Abraham had been living in Canaan 10 years, Ai, his wife, took her Egyptian slave Hagar and gave her to her husband to be his wife. He slept with Hagar and she conceived. When she knew she was pregnant, she began to despise her mistress. Then Ai said to Abraham, you are responsible for the wrong I am suffering. I put my slave in your arms, and now that she knows she is pregnant, she despises me. May the Lord judge between you and me. Your slave is in your hands, Abraham said. Do with her whatever you think best. Then Ai mistreated Hagar, so she fled from her. The angel of the Lord found Hagar near a spring in the desert. It was the spring that is beside the road to Shur. And he said, Hagar, slave of Ai, where have you come from and where are you going? I'm running away from my mistress, Ai, she answered. Then the angel of the Lord told her, go back to your mistress and submit to her. The angel added, I will increase your descendants so much that they will be too numerous to count. The angel of the Lord also said to her, you are now pregnant and you will give birth to a son. You shall name him Ishmael, for the Lord has heard of your misery. He will be a wild donkey of a man. His hand will be against everyone, and everyone's hand against him. And he will live in hostility toward all his brothers. She gave this name to the Lord who spoke to her. You are the God who sees me. For she said, I have now seen the one who sees me. That is why the well was called Beerlahairoi. It is still there between Kadesh and Bered. So Hagar bore Abraham a son, and Abraham gave the name Ishmael to the son she had born. Abraham was 86 years old when Hagar bore him Ishmael. 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 Have you ever wondered if you were born into the wrong family? We don't know much about how Ishmael viewed life, but that question mm, must have haunted him at times. His life, his name, and his position were bound up in a conflict between two jealous women, Sarah, Sarai, impatient with God's timetable, had taken matters into her own hands, deciding to have a child through another woman, Hagar, Hagar, servant that she was submitted to being used this way, but her pregnancy gave birth to strong feelings of a superiority towards Sarah. And two, this tense atmosphere, Ishmael was born. For 13 years, Abraham thought Ishmael's birth had fulfilled God's promise. He was surprised to hear God say that the promised child would be Abraham and Sarah's very own. Sarah's pregnancy and Isaac's birth must have had a devastating impact on Ishmael. Until then, he had been treated as a son and heir, but this later rival made his future uncertain. During Isaac's weaning celebration, Sarah called Ishmael teasing his half-brother. As a result, Hagar and Ishmael were permanently expelled from Abraham's family. Much of what happened throughout his life cannot be blamed on Ishmael. He was caught in a process much bigger than himself. However, his own actions showed that he had chosen to become part of the problem and not part of the solution. He chose to live under his circumstances rather than above them. The choice he made is one we must all make. There were circumstances over which we have no control, Haiti, for instance, but there were others that we can control, decisions we make. At the heart of the matter is the sin or innate nature we have all inherited. It can be partially it can be partially it can be partially controlled, although not overcome by human effort. In the context of history, Ishmael's life represents the mess we make when we don't try to change the things we could change. The God of the Bible has offered a solution. His answer is not control, but a changed life. To have a changed life, turn to God, trust Him to forgive your sinful past, and begin to change your attitude toward Him and others. Strengths and accomplishments. One of the first to experience the physical sign of God's covenant circumcision, known for his ability as an archer and hunter, fathered 12 sons who became leaders of warrior tribes. Weaknesses and mistakes. Failed to recognize the place of his half brother Isaac and mocked him. God's plans God's plans incorporate people's mistakes. Vital statistics: where? Canaan and Egypt. Occupation: hunter, archer, warrior. Relatives: parents: Hagar and Abraham. Half brother Isaac. Key verses: God heard the boy crying, and the angel of God called to Hagar from heaven and said to her, "What is the matter, Hagar? Do not be afraid. God has heard the boy crying as he lies there. Lift the boy up and take him by the hand, for I will make him into a great nation." Genesis chapter 21, verses 17 and 18. Ishmael's story is told in Genesis chapter 16 and 17. In Genesis chapter 16 and 17, Genesis chapter 12, verses 12 to 18, Genesis chapter 28, verses 8 and 9, and Genesis chapter 36, verses 1, 2, and 3. He is also mentioned in 1 Chronicles chapter 1, verses 28 to 31, Romans chapter 9, verses 7 and 9, Galatians chapter 4, verses 21 to 31. The covenant of circumcision. Genesis chapter 17. When Abraham was 99 years old, the Lord appeared to him and said, "I am God Almighty. Walk before me faithfully and be blameless. Then I will make my covenant between me and you and will greatly increase your numbers." Abraham fell face down, and God said to him, "As for me, this is my covenant with you. You will be the father of many nations. No longer will you be called Abraham. Your name will be Abraham, for I have made you a father of many nations. I will make you very fruitful. I will make nations of you, and kings will come from you. I will establish my covenant as an everlasting covenant between me and you and your descendants after you for the generations to come to be your God and the God of your descendants after you. The whole land of Canaan, where you now reside as a foreigner, I will give as an everlasting possession to you and your descendants after you. I will be their God. Then God said to Abraham, as for you, you must keep my covenant, you and your descendants after you for the generations to come. This is my covenant with you and your descendants after you, the covenant you are to keep. To keep every male among you shall be circumcised. You are to undergo circumcision, and it will be the sign of the covenant between me and you. For the generations to come, every male among you who is 8 days old must be circumcised. Must be circumcised, including those born in your household or bought with money from a foreigner. Those who are not your offspring. Those who are not your offspring, whether born in your household or bought with your money, they must be circumcised. My covenant in your flesh is to be an everlasting covenant. Any uncircumcised male who has not been circumcised in the flesh will be cut off from his people. From his people, he has broken my covenant. My covenant. God also said to Abraham, as for Sarai, your wife, you are no longer to call her Sarai. Her name will be Sarah. I will bless her and will surely give you a son by her. I will bless her so that she will be the mother of nations, kings of people will come from her. Abraham fell face down in love and said to himself, will the son be born to a man 100 years old? Will Sarah bear a child at the age of 90? And Abraham said to God, if only Ishmael might live under your blessing. Then God said yes. But your wife Sarah will bear you a son, and you will call him Isaac. I will establish my covenant with him as an everlasting covenant for his descendants after him. And as for Ishmael, I have heard you. I will surely bless him. I will make him fruitful, and will greatly increase his numbers. He will be the father of 12 rulers, and I will make him into a great nation. But my covenant I will establish with Isaac, whom Sarah will bear to you by this time next year. When he had finished speaking with Abraham, God went up from him. On that very day, Abraham took his son Ishmael and all those born in his household, or bought with his money, every male in his household, and circumcised them, as God told him. Abraham was 99 years old when he was circumcised, and his son Ishmael was 13. Abraham and his son Ishmael were both circumcised on that very day, and every male in Abraham's household, including those born in his household or bought from a foreigner, was circumcised with him. Sodom and Gomorrah, the three visitors, Genesis chapter 18. The Lord appeared to Abraham near the great trees of Mamre, while he was sitting at the entrance to his tent in the heat of the day. Abraham looked up and saw 3 men standing nearby. When he saw them, he hurried from the entrance of his tent to meet them and bowed low to the ground. He said, if I have found favor in your eyes, my Lord, do not pass yourself in by. Let a little water be brought, and then you may all wash your feet and rest under this tree. Let me get you something to eat, so you can be refreshed, and then go on your way. Now that you have come to your sovereign, very well, they answered. Do as you say. So Abraham hurried into the tent to Sarah. Quick, he said, get 3 seahs of the finest flour and kneaded and baked some bread. Then he went to the herd and selected a choice tender calf and gave it to a servant who hurried to prepare it. He then brought some curds of milk and the calf that had been prepared and set these before them. While they ate, he stood near them under a tree. Where is your wife Sarah? They asked him. There, in the tent, he said. Then one of them said, I will surely return to you about this time next year, and Sarah your wife will have a son. Now Sarah was listening at the entrance to the at, now Sarah was listening at the entrance to the tent which was behind him. Abraham and Sarah were already very old, and Sarah was past the age of childbearing. So Sarah laughed to herself as she thought, after I am worn out and my Lord is old, will I now have this pleasure? Then the Lord said to Abraham, why did Sarah laugh and say, will I? Will I really have? Will I really have a child now that I am old? Is anything too hard for the Lord? I will return to you at the appointed time next year, and Sarah will have a son. Sarah was afraid, so she lied and said, I did not laugh. But he said, yes, you did laugh. You did laugh. Matthew chapter 6, verses 1 to 24. Matthew chapter 6. One to 24. Jesus and the Old Testament law reference examples of Old Testament mercy and justice. Leviticus chapter 19, verse 18. Do not seek revenge or bear a grudge against anyone among your people, but love your neighbor as yourself. I am the Lord. Proverbs chapter 24, verses 28 and 29. Do not testify against your neighbor without cause. Without cause. Would you use your lips to mislead? Do not say, I would do to them as they have done to me. I will pay them back for what they did. Proverbs chapter 25, verses 21 and 22. If your enemy is hungry, give him food to eat. If he is thirsty, give him water to drink. In doing this, you will heap burning coals on his head, and the Lord will reward you. Lamentations chapter 3, verses 30 and 31. Let him offer his cheek. Let him offer his cheek to one who would strike him, and let him be filled with disgrace. For no one is cast off by the Lord forever. What seems to be a case of Jesus contradicting the laws of the Old Testament deserves a careful look. It is too easy to overlook how much mercy was written into. Whoa. Nothing much. What's up with you? That's good. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. 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 Your ex girlfriend. Yeah, Kara. Yeah. 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 Okay. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I do. No. Yeah, hug. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Yes. Yeah. Yeah, my life is with you too. Yeah. 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 Yep. Yeah. 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 Okay. Yeah. 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 Okay. Okay. Yeah. 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 Okay. Yeah, I do. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Next Friday. Yeah. 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 I know. I love you too. Yes. Same with me. Yeah. As a friend. Yeah. 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 Of course. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Love you. Okay. Yeah. Oh. Love you.
Take care, okay?
Okay. I know. Yeah.
She's a friend, and now if I do something, I'll tell you.
Yes.
I'm not doing nothing with her.
Yeah.
He can't bug me any. Well, it's okay, we're friends.
Yeah.
No kiss, I told her no, kiss me on my cheek.
Yeah.
But it's
Yeah.
not because we won't get the virus.
Yeah.
Because he can't get the coronavirus test tomorrow at 10:30.
Yeah. 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 Okay. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Any information you want to talk to me, you can text me.
Yeah. I know. I love. Yeah. I know.
She's not going to my peacemaker shoot.
Yeah. Just me. Yeah. 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 Yeah, it is. Yeah. Okay. Love you. Okay. Okay. Jesus and the Old Testament law references. Leviticus chapter 19, verse 18. Examples of Old Testament mercy and justice. Do not seek revenge or bear a grudge against anyone among your people, but love your neighbor as yourself. I am the Lord. Proverbs chapter 24, verses 28 and 29. Do not testify against your neighbor without cause. Would you use your lips to mislead? Do not say, I would do to them as they have done to me. I will pay them back for what they did. Proverbs chapter 25, verses 21 and 22. If your enemy is hungry, give him food to eat. If he is thirsty, give him water to drink. In doing this, you will heap burning coals on his head, and the Lord will reward you. Lamentations chapter 3, verses 30 and 31. Let him offer his cheek to one who would strike him, and let him be filled with disgrace. For no one is cast off by the Lord forever. What seems to be a case of Jesus contradicting the laws of the Old Testament deserves a careful look. It is too easy to overlook how much mercy was written into the Old Testament laws. Above are several examples what God designed as a system of justice with mercy have been distorted over the years into a license for revenge. It was this misapplication of the law that Jesus attacked. Jesus teaches about giving to the needy, Matthew chapter 6. Be careful not to practice your righteousness in front of others to be seen by them. If you do, you will have no reward from your Father in heaven. So when you give to the needy, do not announce it with trumpets, as the hypocrites do in the synagogues and on the streets, to be honored by others. Truly I tell you, they have received their reward in full. But when you give to the needy, do not let your left hand know what your right hand is doing, so that your giving may be in secret. Then your Father, who sees what is done in secret, will reward you. Jesus teaches about prayers, and when you pray, do not be like the hypocrites, for they love to pray standing in the synagogues and on the street corners to be seen by others. Truly I tell you, they have received their reward in full. But when you pray, go into your room, close the door, and pray to your Father who is unseen. Then your Father who sees what is done in secret will reward you. And when you pray, do not keep on babbling like pigeons, for they think they will be heard because of the many words. Do not be like them, for your Father knows what you need before you ask him. This then is how you should pray. Our Father in heaven, hallowed be your name. Your kingdom come. Your will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us today our daily bread, and forgive us our debts, as we also have forgiven our debtors, and lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from the evil one. For if you forgive other people when they sin against you, your heavenly Father will also forgive you. But if you do not forgive others their sins, your Father will not forgive your sin. Jesus teaches about fasting. When you fast, do not look somber as the hypocrites do, for they disfigure their faces to show others they are fasting. Truly I tell you, they have received their reward in full. But when you fast, put oil on your head and wash your face, so that it will not be obvious to others that you are fasting, but only to your Father who is unseen. And your Father who sees what is done in secret will reward you. Jesus teaches about money. Do not store up for yourself treasures on earth where moths and vermin destroy, and with these break in and steal. But store up for yourself treasures in heaven where moths and vermin do not destroy, and with these do not break in and steal. For where your treasure is, there your heart will be also. The eye is the lamp of the body. If your eyes are healthy, your whole body will be full of light. But if your eyes are unhealthy, your whole body will be full of darkness. If then the light within you is darkness, how great is that darkness? No one can serve two masters either. You will hate the one and love the other, or you will be devoted to the one and despise the other. You cannot serve both God and money. Psalm chapter 7. Psalm chapter 7, verses 1 to 17. Theme: a request for justice against those who make slanderous comments. God is the perfect judge and will prosecute the innocent Arthur David, Ashigaion David, which he's saying to the Lord concerning Cush, a Benjamite. Lord my God, I take refuge in you. Save and deliver me from all who pursue me, or they would tear me apart like a lion and whip me to pieces with no one to rescue me. Lord my God, if I had done this and there was guilt on my hands, if I have repaid my ally with evil, or without cause have robbed my foe, then let my enemy pursue and overtake me. Let him trample my life to the ground and make me sleep in the dust, O wise Lord. In your anger rise up against the rage of my enemies. Awake my God, decree justice. Let the assembled people gather around you while you sit enthroned over them on high. Let the Lord judge the peoples. Vindicate me, Lord, according to my righteousness, according to my integrity. O Most High, bring to an end the violence of the wicked, and make the righteous secure. You, the righteous God, who probes minds and hearts. My shield is God Most High, who saves the upright in heart. God is a righteous judge, a God who displays his wrath every day. If he does not relent, he will sharpen his sword. He will bend and swing his bow. He has prepared his deadly weapons. He makes ready his flaming arrows. Whoever is pregnant with evil conceives trouble and gives birth to disillusionment. Whoever digs a hole and scoops it out falls into the pit they have made. The trouble they cause recoils on them. Their violence comes down on their own heads. I will give thanks to the Lord because of his righteousness. I will sing the praises of the name of the Lord Most High. Most High. Proverbs chapter 2, verses 1 to 5. 1 to 5. Moral benefits of wisdom. My son, if you accept my words and store up my commands within you, turning your ear to wisdom and applying your heart to understanding, indeed, if you call out for insight and cry aloud for understanding, and if you look for it as for silver and search for it as for hidden treasure, then you will understand the fear of the Lord and find the knowledge of God. Knowledge of God. Okay, that's all for now.